As someone who has built both a six-figure web design business and made over $300,000 selling digital products in the past year, I often get asked the question, what should I sell, web design services or digital products? And maybe an even more valid question is, if the majority of your income now comes from selling digital products, why do you teach people on your channel how to offer web design services? Let's be honest, selling digital products sounds incredibly attractive. The idea of creating something once and then selling it over and over again while you sleep is the dream. Passive income, location freedom, no client deadlines. But the reality is that there's actually no such thing as passive income, and there is no shortcut or easy path. Whichever path you choose comes with an enormous amount of work and its own unique challenges. There's a right time and place for each business model, and choosing the wrong one at the wrong time is why so many people fail to build a successful business. And so in this video, I want to give you a very transparent look into my own journey, my complete path from services to digital products, and all the breakthroughs and failures that led me to where I am today. And so by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide based on your own situation which path is going to be right for you. And so to start at the beginning of my journey in 2021, I had been a freelancer for about 3 or 4 years doing anything and everything. Graphic design, logo design, print design, whatever people asked for, I would do it. But I was really struggling to make any real money. I was barely making $1,000 a month. I was taking on any project that I could find, and I was constantly feeling like I was starting from scratch with every new client. And so when a client came to me asking if I could build them a website, I'd never done this before, but I just said yes and then taught myself how to build a basic WordPress website. And so I managed to charge $500 for this website, which was more than my average project. And so I made the decision to zero in and focus on just offering web design services. I made a sales page. I curated my portfolio to reflect the exact type of web design clients that I wanted to attract, and created a clear client process from start to finish. And then I started learning how I was going to attract clients. And so I started posting on TikTok, showing off my expertise. I positioned myself as a specialist in web design, and I linked my sales page so clients could reach out to me. And all of these things helped me attract the first clients for my web design business. Within 6 months, I'd gone from teaching myself how to build a website for $500 to booking my second client at $2,700 and my third client at $5,400. And so suddenly I had built a $10K per month web design business. I felt like I made it. I was making more money than I ever had before. I had complete freedom to choose when I wanted to work and who I wanted to work with. And as a shy introvert, I just didn't even think that a business like this was going to be possible for me. But the other side of this is that I quickly burnt out. I was working more hours than I ever had before, and I was struggling to keep up with all the different client projects and working on finding time to create content to attract new clients. And so I would go through these really intense cycles of working really hard and booking out with clients, and then burning out and needing a couple of months off. And so I then spent the next 2 years trying to find a way to make this sustainable. And so the first thing I did was focus on streamlining my client process. I spent the next 2 years creating templates for everything, automating my workflow, setting clear boundaries with clients. And for the most part, this worked. I was able to cut my work down to 3 to 4 hours a day while still sitting comfortably at $10K per month. If you want to see the exact process that I developed for this, I documented all of this in these videos here, so you can check this out after this video. But eventually I hit this wall where I realized that no matter how streamlined my processes were, there was still a ceiling to how much I could actually earn from services. Even though I'd managed to cut my work time down a lot, the last thing I wanted to do was turn myself into a machine and start taking on more clients and working more hours again. But I was still looking for ways that I could grow my income. And so when you get to this point, you really have two options. Either you go the agency route, so you hire designers and developers and build out a team. This allows you to take on bigger projects and more clients at a time, and you scale this way. And so for me, I had tried outsourcing some of my work to freelancers and going this route. But as an introvert, the thought of all my time turning into managing other people and at the same time feeling that pressure of keeping clients coming in so I could generate enough work for a team just felt like my idea of hell. I'd built this business to give myself freedom, and I wanted to stay flexible and maintain control over my time and energy. And so in this case, option number 2 is staying as a solopreneur and finding other ways to scale your income without working more hours. And so this usually means moving away from done for you services where you're trading your time for money and finding ways to create leverage through info products and digital products, courses, and other scalable income streams. And so this is where I started making my first real big mistake. And I think this is a mistake that most people watching this video can probably relate to, because it's a mistake that 95% of people make when they're trying to grow an online business. And so I was spending all my time strategizing ways to grow my business and my income. I'd work on client projects during the day and then stay up late trying to create passive income streams. So templates, courses, affiliate marketing, whatever it is, I tried it. I was looking around at all of these other creative businesses with these big product suites, so courses, digital products, coaching programs, and I thought that's what I needed to build. The key to earning more was going to be diversifying my income with a large product suite, and so I tried to start building all of this at once. And so I'd start building a course, and then I'd get distracted by a new digital product idea, and then I'd start building website templates, but nothing was working because I didn't really fully commit to any of these ideas. I was spreading myself too thin and trying to do everything at once instead of just focusing on growing one thing. And so the breakthrough for me came when I realized that actually you have to grow your business one offer at a time. It takes an incredible amount of time, work, and focus to create a valuable offer that people actually want, and then create the right content or marketing to send enough people to buy that offer. Whether that's a service or a digital product, it doesn't really matter. I do not care what anybody says. You cannot just get ChatGPT to write you an ebook, put it out there, and expect to make your millions. And this doesn't mean that you can't eventually end up with a product suite where you have multiple offers, but if you try to build all of this all at once, then you're going to fail. While you're in the building stage, you really need to focus on one thing at a time to make it work. And so for me, even though I managed to streamline my web design business down to about 4 hours a day, it was still taking a lot of my energy and focus. And the truth is that sometimes you can't just work more hours. We all have a limited amount of deep focus and brain energy to spend in a day, and I definitely reached mine. And so in March of 2023, I decided that I would cut back on my client work to give me the time and space to really go all in on developing some kind of digital product that I could create once and sell over and over again, so that I could make more money without working more hours. And so this is when I realized that selling digital products is actually very different to selling services, and it was not going to be an easy transition. Most people make the assumption that it's easier to sell low ticket digital products under $100 than it is to sell services at $3,000 to $5,000 plus. But in reality, the opposite is true. It is infinitely harder to sell a low ticket digital product than it is to make the same money working with high ticket clients. If you look at this logically, if you're selling a 3K service, you need about 3 to 4 clients a month to hit 10K per month. But if you're selling an $88 digital product, you need over 110 sales to reach that same income. And that's a massive difference in the number of people that you need to be able to reach and convert with your content. If you think it's hard right now to get enough attention to attract clients online, it is going to be infinitely harder to attract the same level of traffic that you need to make the same income selling a low ticket digital product. And on top of that, believe it or not, people are actually even more skeptical of a $50 product than they are of a $3,000 service. So not only do you need significantly more traffic, but your content and your marketing needs to be even better, because you need to build more trust with your audience to get people to buy from you. And so this is why starting with services is often the quickest way to start making an income when you have zero experience. You can leverage your existing skills, even if they're not fully developed yet, to help a small number of clients and start generating money immediately. On the other hand, before you can be successful and create a meaningful income with digital products, you need to have, one, successfully solved a painful or annoying problem for yourself or someone else, and have proof of the results that you've created. Two, you have to have some kind of audience or traffic source, and this needs to be significantly bigger than the audience you would need to start finding clients. And third, you need to have a deep understanding of this audience and who you're talking to. And so when I decided to focus on selling digital products, I already had years of experience delivering web design services, solving problems for clients, and developing my own processes for this. I had spent years building an audience, learning how to make content, and then sell to this audience. And I had an existing audience that I already had built up an incredible amount of trust with. And so I could use this audience to test ideas and sell digital products too. But even with that advantage, I worked for 6 months with no results. I failed over and over again trying to figure out what I should sell before I found the right one that fit with my audience. And so if we compare the timelines between launching my web design business and my first successful digital product, in the first 3 months of my web design business, I started with that one client that paid me $500. And then in the next 3 months, I worked on putting together my sales page, 2 portfolio projects, and improving my client process. Then by month 3, I launched my business on TikTok and started posting content. Then 2 months later, I already had 2 high ticket clients. And by month 6, I was booked out at $10K per month. If we compare this to the timeline for launching my digital products, month 0, I started posting content and testing and building product ideas. And it wasn't until month 6 that I had my first successful product launch and made $1,500 that month. I set out in March of 2023 to transition from client services to digital products, and then I made no money at all until I made my first $1,500 in October of that year. And then it took me almost an entire year to see any meaningful results. It wasn't until February of 2024 that I had 3 consecutive 5-figure months selling digital products. For 6 months, I made 0 money. And what is even more important to remember is that I wasn't really starting from 0. I was starting from experience. I had spent the last 3 years leading up to this learning how to build an audience and create content, learning how to sell to that audience, how to create sales pages and write sales emails, and gathering the knowledge and experience that I needed to create that digital product in the first place. I also wouldn't have been able to afford to go almost a year making 0 money in order to build this digital product business if I hadn't bought myself that freedom through the money that I created for myself in my web design business. Web design was the thing that allowed me to create this level of freedom for myself and gave me the experience necessary to have this level of success with digital products. There is no shortcut to this. I could not have skipped straight to this point when I was just starting out. And that's not to say that your timeline is going to look exactly like mine, but you need to decide which path is right for you based on your current situation. And so you want to do this by asking yourself 3 questions. First up is your level of expertise. Are you just starting out in your field, or do you have any established knowledge and skills? Second is your audience size. So do you have an existing audience? Do you have experience creating content and generating traffic, or are you starting from 0? And third is your timeline. How quickly do you need to start making money right now? Do you need to generate income quickly, or can you afford to invest time in building something that you might need to wait to see the actual results? For example, these are 2 examples from people that I have coached personally. First up, we have Jane, and she is a UX designer with years of experience and a well-paying job that she actually really likes. She has a lot of expertise in her field, and she does not need immediate income, but she is interested in building a side business for herself. And so for Jane, creating digital products makes complete sense. She can leverage her existing expertise, build an audience on the side, and develop products without any pressure to see results quickly. If your situation is similar to this, then I recommend that you check out this video here, where I break down exactly how I structure my business to sell digital products. And so then there's Joe. He basically quit his job to start his own business and needs to generate income very quickly. He has some skills in graphic design, but he doesn't feel confident that he's found his area of expertise yet. And so for Joe, offering services is the clear choice. It will bring in money faster while building the expertise he needs if he wants to create products later on down the line. So if you're just starting out with 0 experience, services is almost always the right choice for you. It's the fastest way to build your expertise and start making money now. And so if this is for you, then I have created a series for you here where I break down everything I know to help you go from 0 to $10K per month with your service-based business.